And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the vlogcast. A vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer the questions of why, as in why I'm looking down. Don't worry about it. I'll explain in a minute. This vlogcast started as a combination of spite the Streisand effect because people on Facebook really don't understand the shit sandwich analogy. Don't worry. I'll explain it later. Not today. Not today. But trust me, it almost feels like it's my Skittles moment. Yeah, I'm kind of aggrandizing myself just a little bit. Part of this is follow through with the old adage that sometimes a journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble all over the place. You can find me pretty much anywhere under that, Shujin. Let me go ahead and introduce you to a much more full lineup than we had last week, because we were having a little bit of fun talking about that. Don't worry, we'll explain. Back from travels, top left-hand corner of the bingo card of North America. Good evening, Dalan.
Good evening. Good to be back.
Good to see you, man. And a new set of shiny white headphones, huh?
No, an older set. The earbuds are currently MIA, so I had to improvise really fast.
It's okay. They still look good.
They work. That's the important part.
That's the most important part. Yes, I was going to say don't scuff them up, but it's shoes that sneakers. There's a thing about sneakers this past week.
If I'm scuffing up something, if I'm scuffing up the headphones, I'm doing something tragically wrong.
Or really good, depending as to how good the Captain Morgan is this morning. Speaking of morning, good morning, Heretic Woman from just outside of the greater Toronto area.
Good morning. And if Dalan wants, I can go get my light up cat ear headphones and wear those instead.
You still have those?
Of course I do.
Or should I say they still work?
Oh yes. And Sam really loves her set.
Yeah, those LED lights I got.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't last a month.
Oh.
Yeah, like I'm going to Canadian Tire and getting some real ones at some point.
That blows. Yeah, sorry. We went shopping at a chain called Showcase when I was over in Calgary. It's like as seen on TV products, and I got something, he got something, and his was crap, apparently.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And back from a rather extended hiatus where you guys discovered a brand new form of life, sort of speaking. Welcome back and good evening, Bridget.
Good evening.
Yeah, so you guys had a brand new form of almost life out there, huh?
Well, we did. Everybody at my work, and apparently a lot of people just in this local area, got hit with influenza A, H3N2 variant, Indiana 1. It was fun, let me tell you.
86753. No, I'm not gonna.
Bridget, I would recommend at some point, or maybe not, a book called Infected by one of my favorite authors, Scott Sigler. Just when Shujin said something about, possibly a new form of life, this actually has to do with a virus that does talk to you.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's creepy as hell.
It doesn't go suggesting cuts of his flank that you might like or nothing, does it?
No, it implants itself in you, starts to talk with you, gets you to eat because you have to feed them. And when they mature, they burst out of your body and collect with other viruses that have done the same thing. Go to some secluded spot, form a transportation gateway, and bring in the army that they serve to invade and take over the planet.
Ooh. Yay. Did they talk to you like telepathically? Is that it? Like voices in your head?
Well, I would certainly hope so, because if they're inside my body, I don't want to hear somebody talking by blowing through my blood. Thank you very kindly.
Yeah, let's just. This was like the second podcast novel I ever listened to. Yeah, creepy as hell.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, everybody, welcome back. Of course, as always, if you are paying attention live, first, thank you. I do know that a couple of you are over there. So, Stephanie, thank you. Fearless? Yeah, we're live. All right, you can stop complaining now. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those nights. If you are watching live, of course, take advantage of the question and answer, the live chat. Oh wow, it's been a long time. I haven't had anything to drink yet. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that I was looking around for. I have a bottle of wine. It's been a long time since I've had any. As a matter of fact, the last time I had any of this wine was oh God, what episode was that? Was that 200? Yes, it was 200.
Is that the one where you had like the 2 bottles and were having issues with pronunciation?
I think by the end of the night he was becoming fluent in the language of drunkenese.
I completely discount your take on reality and substitute sleep afterwards.
Shujin,
it was bad.
Shujin, keep in mind.
Yeah,
we can go back to the video.
We can. Unless I go over into the listing and set it to private, and then nobody can see it. Then, so I wouldn't do that because I'm too much of a schlep to do that.
Audio.
I know. You know what? Screw y'all, man.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, there's reasons why. I finally got another case, and I'm only just half done with the case that I had already. But tradition. There's reasons, but I'm gonna get to that in a couple of seconds. So, as always, everybody, thanks for being along with us. As far as to the rest of the guys, Joe might be sleeping right now since it is quite chilly right now in the area around where we are. So I would not put it past him that he's a little bit cold and chilly and otherwise tired from this past week because he was busy. We'll just go as far as that. Joseph has been working on stuff, so he's probably still, sleeping, which I don't blame him. And Tech, well, you know what, Tech, if you're paying attention, yeah, we kind of understand. He didn't call or nothing. He doesn't write, not even a phone call. And if this is just to make my, boost up my morale, thanks. And up yours too. We appreciate it. So there you go. Anyway, with all that crap out of the way for a couple of seconds, let me go ahead and get you guys rolling with tonight's 5-minute freestyle, because your 5 minutes start now. Impressions. Oh man, we had a lot of talk at one point about getting a tool to put impressions, literal impressions, into the easily obtained, by the way, very easily obtained little Holy Communion wafers. You can get them off of Amazon in groups of 500 or more. And if you go looking around, you can even find. You remember back in the day how people would on the trains, you could get your ticket from the conductor while you were on, and he'd have the change belt on him. There are tools that are basically the same kind of thing, like the upside down Pez dispenser. You load them into the thing, and you trigger lock it off the bottom. I don't know where they are at this point, but I every once in a while I go looking. You should see what it looks like when I go ahead and I fire up my Amazon account and go looking for stuff. It's kind of curious. In this case, the impressions that I was actually thinking about were the impressions of people's lives onto our own. Because this past week, the 7th, marks literally 30 years since I met my wife. And as usual, I go back to the college. I leave flowers in the band room. I pick up another case of wine. And I pick up another thing of 7 stars around the moon at the Chinese restaurant just off campus. But there are a couple of things that made it different this year. Turns out I visited the band room at 4:30, which at this point, all college band, which is when Fuji and I first saw each other, is 4:30. So when the little one and I made it over to the band room, I did not realize. I asked when the professor that was there and handling the marimba group that was there, when I explained, why I was there, and I asked, when does all college band practice, and they're just like, 4:30. And I looked at the clock. It's 4:30. So I actually got to say, you know what? It is literally 30 years to the minute when I was here and got to see my wife for the first, my future, then to be future wife for the first time. And completely did not even think about it because she was a silly freshman who was bringing her instrument case, peeking in the door all timid-like because they were late. And who brings their instrument the first day of class? I mean, that's just dumb. You're not doing that. But we got to walking around campus for a little bit afterwards. And as we were making our way back to the car, one of the kids, and I say kids, one of the students, saw me and came over and said that they were impressed. And they took very much notice of what I said. And he hopes to see me again next year. He's originally from Queens. And I told him that I was very appreciative. I wished him well. I gave him what little advice that I could, which was to keep writing music. Every time that there's a little thing that goes through your head, write it down. Get, index cards and just write out stuff every once in a while when you get a musical theme in your head. Because if you're going into music education, you're going to need something to keep your sanity sometimes. But he took notice. And he thought that my wife should be very proud to know that I keep going back and keep respecting and sometimes keep telling. And it was great to see one of these kids that's just up and coming, and maybe I've made a little impression for him, both personally and hopefully professionally later. I got to give a shorthand version of it earlier today in Rochester to Denise Crosby. Yes. That Denise Crosby.
Very cool.
And I will say that I made an impression on her too. Because I did not ask for an autograph, did not ask for a photo, but I wanted to say thank you for what memories her time on Star Trek gives to me. And I know that I did because she asked, "Wait, you said your son was here too?" "Yeah." "Well, when you find him, bring him over so I can say hello too." And we did. Benjamin at Fredonia, my best hopes. And Ms. Crosby, thank you for a moment that I don't need a photograph to remember later. May you have many more good impressions from good people later. And to you, my girl, my lady, like I keep saying, 30 years on, I am still in love. To you. This is episode 226 on the docket, Your Honor. Bad form, old chap. Now, this one required a little bit of homework on everybody else's part. I'll give some explanation shorthand for those of you that didn't go to watch the video, because some people are just listening. But I will give a good recount so everybody understands about it. Before I go ahead and get into that, item number 1, Joseph over in Paris. Good morning. Good of you to be able to join us. I thought that you'd probably still be asleep at this point, so glad you were able to make it. He's probably there. You are.
Yeah, I just have to. I had to get around my coffee.
Figured as much.
Never stand between a person and their coffee.
Yes,
especially when it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm not even a person before I get my coffee.
Are any of us truly?
Yeah, good point.
I haven't had coffee since about 1994.
Yeah, but you're Canadian and female, so it's not like you've got any pullover on this side of the border anyway, right? Yeah, exactly. Could those of you that are listening and not watching the video, could you hear me rolling my eyes at that point at my government? Thank you. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, we've got stuff that we're gonna end up talking about. Heretic Woman, I, of course, as usual, I don't have any new information about Rafe because, well, as usual, it's another one of those weeks where it's rehashed old stories, and there's not much else that we can really do.
Yeah, the only thing I seen at all is all of the poor Saudi students that are desperately trying to stay in Canada.
I can't imagine why. Probably because they're trying to be good students and learn and better themselves. Imagine that, right?
Yes, exactly.
So we will see what happens with all that. However, with no new information, unfortunately, as of the recording of tonight's show, this is now 6 years, 2 months, and 24 days since Rafe Badawi was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime. Our hopes and our thoughts are still with you and your family. And with your sister as well. Still waiting to hear on that one too. Bunch of bullshit, but I'm not allowed to say that. Actually, I'm not in the State Department yet, so I can say it as much as I want. Nice guys. Nice. So let me give a real quick recap as far as to the homework assignment I was talking about. I did put a video in the show's description. So if you want to pop over to the YouTube side and take a look at that, that might be helpful for later to get full context. Here's the short of it. I was tooling around, and one of my accounts on YouTube, I've got several. One of them, apparently, because I had watched some professional poker players, because I got interested in the mechanics, the math, the statistics of it all. So now a whole bunch of this comes up, even though whatever, YouTube, whatever. But there is one of them, and again, the one that's linked, where what ended up happening was one of the guys took a quick look at his cards, thought, okay, my 2 cards, this looks good. So, okay, I'll ante in, and one of the other guys quickly looked at his cards, saw what he saw, and decided he was going to go ahead and be in too, specifically against this one guy, and said, you know what? I want to go all in for what's in the pot. Whatever it is that's in the pot, let's just go for it at this point. Well, did you even look at your cards yet? No, I didn't bother looking at my cards yet. So you know what? If you want to push in at this point for it all, you're going in against me, and I'm blind. I'm paraphrasing. No, he completely lied through his teeth. And when the guy committed, turned over his cards and said, "Yep, here we go. Here's all the chips." The guy went ahead and told him that, yeah, I looked at my cards. Of course I looked at my cards. And he called him out on it. The first guy called him out on it. Why would you do that? You lied. And the guy said, "It's poker. Of course I lied." And that's what got me down this rabbit hole at this point, where that speaks so much of what has been happening, what I've seen happening for a long time. Of course, I'm going to lie and cheat and bend every rule and exploit every loophole, because when all is said and done, unless you catch me in the act and charge me with a crime, I will have won. The fair play doctrine doesn't matter so long as I win. And I have a hard time even conceptualizing that as a strategy for anything. Never mind playing a game, never mind politics, where there are actual stakes at risk. So I want to go through some of this because, yeah, we don't exactly go through a lot of stuff that would be typical for a skeptics show or an atheist show, although it's not exactly necessarily the same thing. But it's one of those things where when I finally realized what it was I was looking at, started to really burn me up. Because, what in the hell is wrong with just, I don't know, not just playing by the rules, but playing with the idea of, okay, yeah, we play on equal footing and may the best player win, without specifically tipping the teeter-totter and jumping off the other. You kind of get the idea of where I'm going on this, I guess. So let me start with the easy one. Cheating in games. There's an easy one that we can go through. Football. And I'm saying it football because I want people to realize I'm talking about European football as opposed to American football, aka soccer, aka rugby light. All right, let's just call it what it is. We've seen guys who take a fall in football. The guys, the girls, no. When they fall down, it's because they got a handful of hair and they yanked them back and threw them on the ground. They earned those at that point. You know what I'm talking about, Heretic Woman. You're laughing hard enough. You have to have seen some of these.
A little bit. Now we never, like, soccer here was pretty tame, yeah. And where I lived, because we were in the sticks, we didn't have football, we didn't have rugby, we didn't have any of that stuff. We had basketball.
Yeah.
And field hockey if you're a girl.
Yeah,
God, field hockey if you don't have shin guards, man.
Those are brutal. Like, now I used to like playing not floor hockey. I liked playing floor hockey. And I could get a little aggressive with the stick at times, but oh hell, not with one of them wooden ass field hockey sticks. Ooh, no.
No, that would be bad. Yeah, Dalan, go ahead, because I want to ask Bridget something when you finish.
Well, no, like what you're talking about in football, and what brought it up is I've seen it in hockey, and it is, well, it's taking a dive.
Mm-hmm.
During the playoffs in hockey, I don't know how prevalent it is now, but it used to be that when a goon came on the ice, and okay, a coach will swear on a stack of whatever holy book they're pledging these days.
I think I know where you're going.
That they don't have goons, they don't have enforcers. Look, one of the bullies that used to beat the shit out of me when I was a kid made it as an enforcer on the LA Kings. Okay.
Wow.
And I know for a fact that he was a good hockey player, but he was a better bully.
Mm.
So the idea was to get those goons off the ice as much as possible, and if that involved a player taking a dive to make it look like the guy had done a penalty able
Like
offense,
slashed or something,
or cross-checking was the easy one,
right?
Or get the guy so riled up because goons are not typically known for their intelligence, but also known for their short tempers, that they will take, enough of a poke that the dive would look convincing. And it's all a strategy to get your power players off the ice so that, I guess they're, in a way, they're kind of protecting their investment too, because who is the goon going after? The
good guy. Yeah, the good players.
I think the only hockey player that I know of that ever got any ounce of immunity due to his celebrity status was Wayne Gretzky.
Yes.
But that didn't stop Dale Howardchuk from taking his head and driving it into the ice during one game I saw.
Was that pre or post helmet?
Post.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
The ironic thing is about the only guy I saw post helmet who wouldn't wear a helmet. He was on the Oilers. His last name was McTavish.
Is that the guy with the big mustache?
No, you're thinking Lanny McDonald from the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, the ginger guy with the huge mustache.
Yeah, and
he looked like Willie.
Yeah, I met him. This is years after he retired.
Yeah,
he still got the stash.
I believe it.
Yeah,
yeah. I've seen though clips from soccer games and even World Cup and it's become a joke where specific players, they make fun of them for somebody touched them on the shoulder and they fall down and they're like, and,
yeah.
There was a video that was going around Facebook a couple of months ago, and it was a bunch of children at a soccer school doing drills. And so there was a group of 10 or 15 of them, and they were, kicking the ball all a certain way. And then one by one, they would all drop on the grass and hold a body part and start writhing around. And it was they were being taught by one of these guys who they were making fun of for doing that. There's one guy, I have no idea who it is because I don't follow soccer at all, but there is one guy that I was seeing being made fun of a lot more than anybody else. He's supposedly specifically is just falling over all the time. Oh, I don't know who it was though. I don't know. Stephanie, you're in soccer land. Any idea?
Let's see what she comes up with. While we'll wait on that, by the way, Bridget, there's a piece about that I wanted to kind of swing past you, because I had winced about the whole floor hockey and field hockey thing. Field hockey, I know full well. Those, I don't even remember what they're called, but the big wooden hunks of angry flaming death on somebody's shins. Shins are really, really out there because there's nothing muscle-wise or fat-wise to save you. Hence the reason why I was wincing and saying shin guard. You ain't got shin guards. You're screwed. What happens when somebody gets hit on a shin? Not even that hard.
It hurts like a mofo and it bruises.
and a brown bruise. My God, why the frick was that so hard for me to? God, I was saying it right too.
Okay, how many bottles did you have before?
No. I had some coffee earlier, and nothing else. This is the first, literally the first amount of wine, and I have not refilled this little cup yet. I've still got half in here, so I'm not affected by that. Bone brew. I was saying it wrong. I was saying bone bruise. Jesus.
I thought you were gonna, make a brony reference or something.
No, well, that's personal time. That's all of the okay. Bone bruise.
Bone bruise.
Bone bruise.
How about bruised bone?
You know
bruised
what?
bone.
Yeah, shut the hell up. I don't care. You're not the medical one. Okay, so like bone bruise. You know what?
That hurts like hell. And
But is that actual serious medical though, or at what point does it become serious medical?
well, I mean, if you got hit hard enough to fracture something, then yeah, that would be serious. It just mostly hurts, it bruises, and even with really good shin guards on, ask anybody who's ever done MMA, it's still possible to hurt your shins.
No doubt. So
Mm.
in a situation like that, where you've got field hockey, where you've got the heavy wood clubs, again, I don't remember what they're actually called, for lack of a better term for it. If somebody were to, quote unquote, take a dive because somebody was playing the ball and still took one across the heavy plastic and foam padding, I don't think that we would look at that and go, nah, that's taking a dive, as opposed to, ooh, that really had to hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt. And I mean, as somebody who's had stress fractures really bad in her shins, that would be me. I mean, it was bad enough that I could not walk for about 6 weeks and had to have ultrasound and stuff to heal it. Very painful.
So,
Sorry. I was just going to say, Stephanie says she loathes soccer. So you're fired. You're fired as the European consultant on soccer then.
that's just great. Fire her from a job that she didn't want in the first place. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, we don't do soccer here anyway. I mean, the big religion here is basketball.
Yeah.
And something called cornhole.
The hell is
Don't
that?
ask.
Moving right along, because this is not a 4 or 10 episode.
Oh, and I just looked it up, and they just call them field hockey sticks.
Okay, good. Jesus, I was getting worried you were going to say, I just looked up cornhole. I was worried.
No,
Really
it's
worried.
like a beanbag toss kind of a game, but it's a huge thing here, and that's what they call it, cornhole.
They were playing that in the big park in Savannah when I was there last.
Is that what they called it?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I was just like, oh, that's kind of weird.
That's the first time I'd ever
Like,
heard it called that. Was
grown ass adults playing with bean bags in the park there.
I'm
Oh,
imagining
there's-
a T-shirt saying "Cornhole Champion 1983."
I am not going to spit take.
What if you get a trophy for that? You
I
put
was
it on
going
your
to say,
mantle?
you get into like a league play or something like that, and yeah, you come up with team names that are just absolute plays on shit. It's
And so-
and that's what a trophy. I think it would be Beavis like this.
yeah.
cornholio.
Yep.
I
am
the great cornholio.
I'm a
Cornhole or
cornholeaholic.
beanbag toss is a lawn game in which players take turns throwing bags of corn at a raised platform with a hole in the far end. A bag in the hole scores 3 points, while one on the platform scores 1 point.
Okay.
This sounds a lot like a really out of context version of lawn darts
Darts, yes.
that won't kill you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, this would be so much easier done as horseshoes. And item 2, Dalan, I'm sorry, but when you started talking about getting team play for cornhole games, all I had to think of was a 5-man team, and it was just
Cornhole
I don't
tournament.
really.
Tournament.
Three men on a side with 2 backups because.
Holy crap! The vlogcast brought to you today by Pornhub.
Oh, and Lobster's in the house, and he says, "Just say it. It's your poop hole."
Yeah. Thanks.
What was that you said earlier about brutally honest? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Lobster's an honest fella.
Yes, he is. Oh my God, Callie! I swear to you, I had nothing to do with this time.
I started it.
Not
I'm
me.
sorry.
It's all your fault. God damn it! All right, so here's the thing. How the hell would you know what?
Random comment from Bridget. Of course.
Yeah, and now my brain is thinking, how in the hell would you cheat at court? You know what? I don't want to. You know what? We'll just move it along.
WD-40.
Sponsored by KY.
Okay, the both of you are in a timeout right now. One, because KY reminds me of my first job when somebody actually said, let me call J&J on their 800 line and find out why don't they have flavored KY?
But they do now.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
And two, yeah, WD-40 as personal lubricant is a really bad idea. Just saying. Just saying. All right.
I mean, it can fix just about anything, but
no, not where organics is concerned. All right, so let's
for cornhole.
I said
God
just
damn it.
about.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this bus right the fuck around at this point. I swear to Christ.
Why is the Trojan Man theme playing in my head now?
Because he's riding side saddle. That's why.
That's
so let's
the other
explain
sponsor.
God damn it! You're not helping me at all.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Freaking kill. Okay, so I want y'all to know, by the way, I still have not finished my first flagon, and they're the ones who are absolutely losing their shit right now tonight. Okay?
I'm drinking water.
I had grape soda.
That little glass you saw me drinking was a shot of Cointreau. I got introduced to it last weekend.
Good stuff.
Oh hell yes! But I can't wait. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to find like the best hot chocolate I can find. Because from what I'm told, that a shot of that in hot chocolate is like a Terry's chocolate orange.
Ah. By the way, do you know where you can buy a cornhole set? At Dick's Sporting Goods.
Good night, everybody. It's nice knowing you. Oh God, this is turning into Friday at the office. We're not going to get anything done.
It's the first link on Google.
I want you people to know, I try. I actually really supremely try to have good, wholesome discussions. It's not my fault that these people are a bunch of fuckballs tonight. It's really not my fault.
Well, it kind of is, because you're the reason we're all here.
And see, I was going to go ahead and go with my usual, you came in here yourself, nobody invited you, Petunia. But no, I actually did.
You did invite us.
Yeah, I know! God. I'm so glad that I've got my door closed over here. You know why I've got my door closed? Because I got my window cracked open. Why? Because it's cold outside, so it's keeping my computer nice and chilled right now. So shut up. I'm going to have to change shirts because I'm going to have two holes in the front of mine at the end of the shirt. You know what? Fine. We'll just move it along from here. So here's the deal. Where the hell am I at this point? Oh, right here. Hi. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. The Vlogcast... Just start the whole damn thing. All right, so the actual point of the whole damn thing is that, okay, there are times where people are gonna actually get hurt. And we don't want that to have happen. We actively don't want that to have happen. There are rules in sports to make sure that people don't actually get hurt. As was mentioned, because you mentioned it, Heretic Woman, the idea of, you said, was that pre or post helmet?
Yes.
What did that mean exactly? I know what it means, of course, but
yeah, up until I think it was sometime in the mid to late 70s, the NHL did not require players to wear helmets, and a good many of them played without helmets.
Oh.
Now, add on to that, because I happen to know this, there was a point where, yes, you were required to wear a helmet, but not required to have any facial guard whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I think those are still kind of optional, aren't they, Dalan?
When the face visor came down, no pun intended, there was some controversy, and I do believe one of our resident sports personalities, Don Cherry, excuse me, had a thing or five to say about it.
Yeah.
And not very nice too. He basically what he was seeing or what he was perceiving was the pussification of the NHL.
Yeah.
You know, because, well, and the thing is,
this coming from a guy who still had all of his choppers in his face.
Yep.
well,
Oh, and the resident hockey expert Beth says it was 1979. Just so we.
but
8.
Nope,
8.
she changed it. She changed it.
Oh,
Keep scrolling.
sorry. You're right. Sorry.
yeah, but the thing is, Cherry is a lot like, oh God, I'm gonna hate saying this. He was the Donald Trump of the NHL.
Oh yeah.
Basically, what he did is he keyed into the lowest common denominator of the hockey fan, which is the traditionalist. Why the hell are they wearing body armor underneath those uniforms? You know, can't they take a puck to the gut? You know, like a man.
Yeah.
Says the guy who's never had a puck shot at him in his life. And further to the point, going back to the team I'm most familiar with, the Calgary Flames, there was a guy on there. His name was Al McInnes. He was reputed to have the hardest slap shot in the league, to the point where one of the people on his squad, a big dude by the name of Joe Lotto, would wear reinforced shin guards just in case he got hit with one of these flying bullets.
Wow.
And I can tell you from experience, getting hit from a slap shot hurts.
Beth says he could shoot at 109 miles an hour.
Yep.
Yeah. As far as converting that to kilometers per hour, fast. I'm sorry.
I had the privilege of watching him play, actually.
Yeah, she also said, ask Bob Probert about Hellmuth. Oh, sorry, he's dead from... And I'm trying really hard to not say what I'm thinking, but I want you to know, CBT is not the first thing that came to my mind when you wrote CBT.
A helmet will not protect you from that.
Nope.
For that, you need something else.
Well, that depends on the helmet. Bridget, what is CBT? And please remember, this is supposed to be a family show.
Are you referring to cognitive behavioral therapy?
No. I'm thinking it's cranial. Some kind of
or is it concussion something? No.
I forget.
Beth, what is it?
Yeah,
we don't know.
I'll just go as far as to say, when we finally get Callie Wright on here and we talk about sex, oh yeah, that's one of those TLAs we're going to talk about.
Chronic brain disorder. Okay.
Oh, CBD, not CBT. I heard CBT.
Well, that's because it was T. It was T that was written. That's why.
Yeah, trauma. Okay.
I'm beginning to think someone was trolling you, huge.
Little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Chronic brain trauma.
Okay.
Here we go.
So these are legit problems that end up happening because, well, let's face it, you use, well, there's no other way of putting it, a lever, because that's what you're using a hockey stick for, is a lever to impart kinetic energy into a really dense piece of really cold, stiff rubber. And before anybody goes ahead and thinks that's like super exciting, okay, yeah, in some context it is. In some context, it's just that's why you've got padding, as mentioned, sometimes reinforced padding.
And put it this way: the reason that there's very large, thick layers of plexiglass around the boards is because some spectators has been taken out by those pucks before.
No shit.
I do remember a story in the minor hockey leagues where
somebody hit one of the last actual glass backboards and took that fucker right out, right?
Oh no. Well,
that does still happen.
I've seen that too, but no. My hometown team was playing one of their rare spots in the playoffs because they are the bad news bears of their league. They don't go anywhere. People get scared when these guys take the ice. It used to be you go to the fight in hopes a hockey game breaks out.
Yeah, see, now you're making me think of the Chiefs and it owns.
Yeah. I would
you
not
people
be,
who get that reference, you're my people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Hanson brothers are from my hometown.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, going on.
Yeah, anyways. During this playoff game, somebody from the opposing team purposely shot the puck into the stands and hit one of my home team's mothers.
Ooh.
Knocked her out, took her to the hospital.
Ooh, okay. Okay, first off, yeah, that's always super dangerous. B, if you ever look at the tickets when you guys buy a ticket to go to one of these games, there is a little disclaimer that says if you get hurt because of it's your own damn fault for going.
Oh, yeah.
And item C, we know full well it could not have been intentional.
Well,
in this case, it was.
What?
There was a grudge between these two teams, a very personal grudge. The shot was aimed
into the stands to intentionally hit this person. A specific.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mother of one of the players.
Yep.
Probably figured if she got hurt, then that player would leave for the rest of the game.
And they were wrong.
Oh, God, yeah.
At the
Probably stayed on and kicked their ass.
At the next face-off, they didn't even touch the puck. The guy dropped the gloves and jumped the guy. Both benches cleared.
Oh, wow.
It was an epic brawl. I'm pretty sure there was no more game that night.
Yeah, can't imagine how.
Not.
No.
Well,
like when you think about it, like you talk about fair play, and then you get douchebags like that. I know that's not quite where you were going with it.
No, it's quite accurately where I've been going with all this.
But it's anything like that. In sports, it's taking a dive, or it's getting to the point these days where everything is a personal attack.
Well,
kind of.
Okay. I don't know that it's so much a personal attack.
It's taken that way, perhaps.
Yes, but it seems to be that in so many occasions like this, it's taking one for lack of a better way of putting it, the long game. I'll go ahead and I'll take a cast on my arm if it means that I screw you over for the rest of your days because I did something intentionally. I was going to say dishonest. That's not what I'm going for. If I did something that was, I'm going to say it this way because I think it's going to get the right term across. Not above board. I think it's probably the nicest way that I can put it.
Ethically questionable?
Ethically questionable. What was the term that the guy had used? Oh, hell, I forgot what it was that he used. There was a specific term that he used about how I'm thinking about this poker match where he said it was not dishonest or unethical. It was shit. I should have written it down, and I didn't think to do that. But it was basically the idea was, you know what you're supposed to do. You know what the rules are. You know how the game is supposed to be played. But there is a line between playing the game to where you find out who has the better skill in playing the game, as opposed to who's got the better skill in juking somebody's mind, which has nothing to do with the actual mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
And damn it, I'm going to try to...
You mean bluffing?
No.
No. Okay.
Bluffing in bluffing, even though it is not, I learned this from Star Trek Next Generation, even though bluffing is not a written rule in the game, it is a well-known aspect of the game.
Yep.
And that I've got no problem with, because it is a known quantity.
Yeah.
It's a matter of God damn it, I wish I could remember what the right word was. I can't remember what the right word of it was, but it's I'm going to use the wrong words just so I can get something out properly. It's the honor of the game. It's the civility. It's the sportsmanship.
Integrity.
That's probably one of the best parts, the closest word that I could think of. Yes. The integrity of the game, of the mechanics of it all. And that is something that taking a dive, I don't see that as that bad, although it's wrong. The idea, however, of intentionally, actively hurting somebody else, like you were saying, the puck to someone's relative or well respected and cherished person, whoever it is, a direct assault on somebody, yeah, that's wrong. Especially intentionally so. If it was a complete fluke and it jumped off of somebody's stick because slap shot, somebody's stick was in the way, angled right, boom, up into the stands, it happened to go up in there. Okay, shit happens. But it wasn't intentional.
Yeah. And actually, I took a quick peek, and I didn't realize this, but in 2002 in Ohio, now this was an accident, but a 13-year-old girl was actually killed by a deflected puck at a game.
Oh.
Damn. And in some cases, it doesn't. Okay. Hockey puck, for those of you that have never actually held a hockey puck, and the vast majority of people, I would assume, have not, a hockey puck is a dense piece of heavy rubber, not exactly plastic.
In fact, Beth went and looked it up, and she says they weigh 6 ounces.
That doesn't seem right. I would think it's heavier than that.
Yeah.
Then again,
I have no concept of ounces, so I don't know.
That's okay. But the bottom line, the material that it's made out of, when it's cold, and it's cold,
yes,
it's not going to have a lot of give.
No, it's right. I just looked it up. 6 ounces.
6 ounces. Shit. All right. Learned something new.
Yeah.
But 6 ounces at 100 miles an hour. I'm not going to do the math because I don't remember how to do the math. I didn't take physics. Screw you. It's a lot of force.
Yeah.
And getting a concussion in on somebody, well, let's face it, concussions do really nasty things to people.
Uh-huh. Well, and why do you think goalies were the first ones to wear face protection?
Yeah,
because they wanted to protect their beautiful teeth.
Yeah.
Because some of them had a few teeth still left.
Yes.
Not many.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being terribly enjoyable to get a puck to the face when you're a goalie. Because they're wanting that sucker to go in, so you know they're hefting it.
Yeah, and they're going to do everything they can to get it past you.
Yep.
And if that means driving it up into your face to knock you out so that they can do it, they will.
Yeah, because the first impulse is to just get your face the hell away from something that's coming at you.
Yes.
I mean, all you need to do is to test that with a bumblebee, for crying out loud. And I'm not talking about the Transformer. That's a whole other thing. I don't recognize that movie coming out. Screw it.
Beth says teeth?
Yeah.
What are those?
And Stephanie's got it over here. 7 ounces is about 150 grams. So, give you something right there.
And as Beth says, to remember the pucks are frozen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly my point. So these are things that we can somewhat relate to because we understand sports. We may not necessarily appreciate, we may not necessarily like, but we understand what goes into sports. You want the sports object to go to the other side, so team go win, yay. I mean, loosely translated, that's pretty much it. Weird Al could not have done it any better. And don't tell me any wrong there, Dalan. You know full well that's exactly sports. But
yeah, it's
shit. I gotta put that into the
it's about doing whatever it takes to score the most points. And you look at, especially professional sports, where there's money involved.
Oh, a lot of it.
And not just money for the team. Look at the Super Bowl.
TV franchise.
Yeah, but okay, my classic example, the Super Bowl. So as soon as the team wins, whoever it is, right away in the locker room, there are T-shirts, there are hats, there are, I don't know, underwear, socks. I don't know. I don't buy this stuff.
Bubbly, waiting for them to use.
Yeah, okay. The bubbly's one thing. But what I'm getting at,
no, I know,
is the team branded merchandise that is for sale the moment the final buzzer, bell, gunshot, whatever, it sounds. So how is that possible? Well, one of two scenarios. You have the actual scenario where the manufacturers of the merchandise make a gamble, and they make equal parts of both teams being the champions. So
which is what does happen.
Yeah. Or if you go the Alex Jones route, they already know because it's all the fix. And the lizard people are shooting brainwaves from the chemtrails and making the frogs gay.
You do that disturbingly well.
Yeah, I'm ragging the hell out of Alex Jones lately because poor boy's had a bit of a rough ride through the land of social media these days.
Let's not talk about him having a rough ride. Well, considering I was listening to Cognitive Dissonance today, and people were asking him about the trans porn on his phone that they could clearly see. But that's a whole other thing for later.
I knew about this a couple of weeks ago, and some people have been started to debunk that. But whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I've just listened to a lot of so-called free speech absolutionists, I call them. And these are the people who don't recognize, who disagree with the idea of, we talked this a few episodes ago, the currency in the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These people think that there is no currency and that every voice, well, you're going to love how this ties together. Bear with me.
All right, go ahead.
The absolutionists believe that all ideas have a right to be heard, or excuse me, have a right to be spoken.
Okay, before you go any further, meaning all thoughts to be spoken are of equal value. I'm understanding you correctly so far?
No. All thoughts to be spoken can be spoken. It is up to the listener to decide whether or not it is of value.
Okay.
However, looping back to the last time I was on the show, when we got into I can't remember exactly what we were talking about. But Joseph hit the nail on the head towards the end of the show when we were talking, is that these absolutionists are applying the critical thought filter to a massive population that does not think critically. And this is why there has to be a currency in the marketplace of ideas, because the masses are not, they're not willing or able to filter out the BS, which is why, and this is why, again, I rag on Alex Jones so much, Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doubled and tripled down on that thing, saying it was fake. Fine. You know, town idiot on his soapbox, you know, especially with a voice like that. I mean, let's face it, a lot of the village idiots weren't exactly all there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, just look at Fred Phelps. Need I say more? But to my point, it's not that he was bloviating. It's that people listened, believed, and took action. There were death threats. There were assaults against parents of the children of Sandy Hook who were murdered.
Yep.
And basically saying you're nothing but a crisis actor. You had no kids, or your kids are in hiding. Where are they hiding? Tell me the location of the bunker where they're hiding. You know, all of this shit. And that's the problem with these people, is that
when he started talking about Pizzagate, that guy actually went to the pizza shop with a gun and was going to shoot people.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a semi-automatic rifle. He did fire a couple of shots into the ceiling, and on top of the piece earlier, there is one family that has had to move from Sandy Hook. They have had to move 7 times since that shooting, ever since Alex started dicking around with everybody.
Though I've heard reports,
and they're now suing him.
Yeah, I've heard of reports where he's backpedaled, where he's like trying to, he's trying to say he's sort of turned over a new leaf. But the thing is, the damage has been done. And, you know, for a lot of these people who talk about personal responsibility, I think he has a fair bit of personal responsibility, because he is a media figure. He is a figure who gets himself out there. I mean, we are the same thing, where, granted, we don't have anywhere near the pull of someone like him.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's a good thing.
Yeah. But like, okay, we have no intention to influence or direct anybody to do anything from this show. You know, angry as we can get on some subjects, you know, I would never, you know, demand that someone take action because of something we're pissed off about. But I would also discourage anybody from, you know, spontaneously taking action because of something we said.
You know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to change I'm going to change what you said. And I'm going to keep the camera on you to follow up on this one a second. I suggest that we would want people to take the action of investigation, as opposed to going out and, I don't know, taking an armed search party and a lynch mob. God, I can't believe I just said that. Or a posse to go and investigate for themselves and shoot holes into ceilings with semi-automatic rifles in broad daylight and possibly intentionally hurt somebody. We would want people to invade, libraries and actually research with a notepad and learn shit and interview people.
Okay, yeah. Again, but that's because, you know, we assume, and, you know, optimistically so, that our audience is of a more critical mind.
Yep.
Than, you know, the Inquirer reading stereotypical, how do I put this lightly?
Mouth breathing.
Morons.
Yeah, I think you got it pretty closer than I did.
Yeah, that tune into shows, that tune into things like InfoWars or The Blaze. You know, I don't know if he does it because he knows it'll get him, you know, dim clicks or dim views on his shows. But
Yeah, see, and that's a piece right there that factors into it all. I've said before, I don't care how many people we have that are paying attention to us. It's more than just us ourselves. Cool. Then we're making some headway other than just, mutual masturbation sessions over here. The way it's been described before, it's not like I'm making this term up, but at the same time, we don't have to worry about if we make a massive mistake, and for us, it would have to be something that was a real massive mistake. We don't have to worry about our target audience, no matter how many, to go running off the deep end. And at the same time, because we don't have a massive audience, we don't have quite the same level of, if we make a mistake, we're going to have a whole bunch of people suddenly flooding the streets for any stupid reason.
Well,
We don't depend on a large audience.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like we depend on our own. We count on everybody's individual ability to make value judgments for themselves.
Yes. We depend on them being able to think critically.
If I had my way, I would describe a lot of human behavior across two camps. There's just people who can make value judgments for themselves, and humans who spend their lives depending on other people like Alex Jones to make all the decisions for them.
Yeah,
and
the group,
what's safe and dangerous and all that.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
the way of thinking is just completely different.
Yeah,
and the people that can make these value judgments for themselves, they have the tendency to project their own thought patterns on everybody else, just assuming that everybody can think like that as well.
Yeah. And unfortunately, those who depend, I think, are still in the vast majority these days.
It took me 40 years to realize that.
Yeah, there's a piece about that.
I just refuse to believe that people can't think for themselves, or won't, or refuse to.
Well,
whatever it's worth, Alex Jones does actually believe what he's saying, even if it is contradicting something he said 5 minutes ago.
Okay,
but
wait.
Another thing. It's really hard to determine somebody's bullshit like that.
I'm going by what Tracy Harris would say after having numerous conversations with him and things. She's also from Austin, just like he is. And she said that in her estimation, he really does buy exactly what he's saying in that moment, no matter how crazy it is. And even if his mind changes 5 minutes later,
do you think
he's delusional?
It's hard to be mad at somebody who doesn't realize their own error. Somebody, a real believer, is not intentionally, by design, fucking with everybody else. It's not. How do you say?
It's a byproduct because of the way that they're thinking. I think is probably the way that you want to put that one. But
you've got somebody who's fully aware of what they're saying is bullshit, and that they're using this as a tool to manipulate others. And then you have people who aren't aware what they're saying is bullshit, and are just simply following a pattern because that's what they think is best for survival. I call people like this, sheepdogs.
Well, she and I had gotten into
dogs, and you've got the shepherds. Sorry.
Trying to figure out if he bought his own stuff or if he was just a quote unquote showman like Rush Limbaugh claims to be. And she's like, no, he really does believe all the shit he's spouting.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is in one of the court filings that he had with his wife.
Yeah,
I think it's what it was for. I forget if it was divorce or whatever the hell it was.
Custody.
Custody. Thank you. He put out there for the courts. Now, I'm going to finish this thought, and then I'm going to explain a piece about this. Put out for the courts that his on-air, so to speak, at this point, personality is a separate entity and is a caricature. all right, we'll go caricature for a second.
Mhm.
That it is not his personal, but it is his showman side for the show, and not his actual personal life type personality. Now, the reason why I wanted to make sure that I got that out as poorly as I did, so I could come back a second, is that, like I said, this was put for the court in a child custody thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it accurate or is it not? Is hard to describe unless you end up with somebody who has spent a lot of time with, let's say, a mental health professional, or even better, someone that spent personal time on a longer basis to actually speak in a situations where the guard comes down, I guess might be the nicest way of putting it. So with that piece in mind, Bridget, you said that Tracy has spoken with him before and does think that he believes the bullshit that he spouts,
Mm-hmm.
even though they went ahead and, if that's the case, possibly went ahead and, how should we put this, bad formed the courts.
Well, his counsel probably advised him to put out that statement, because if a judge thought he really was that crazy and off the wall, like he is, they wouldn't want children around him.
But didn't he have pitch a fit after they came out and said he was a performance artist? He's like, no, I'm not. It's all real. Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But he also blames up the wacko he said on having a bowl of chili for lunch too. So
yeah, well,
yeah, memory serves. He went on a tirade after the court, so that after the court it doesn't matter because, well, whatever. You go ahead.
Well, wasn't it just the other day he was following Marco Rubio around and
yes,
like getting all touchy-feely and stuff?
Get your hands off of me, yeah.
Well, he was getting up in his face because of the whole banning thing, and that it's left-wing censorship, and I'm not entirely sure why.
Marco Rubio is not left-wing.
No,
I think it was much more along the lines of why aren't you doing enough to stop it from that?
Yeah.
I'm saying probably because I will admit I didn't go deep diving into any of that. I didn't even go light diving into any of that because for me it was like, oh, headline. Oh, it's Alex and he hasn't shaven enough.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
yeah, sure. Yeah, why bother?
The only reason I knew anything about it is some of the people, journalists that I follow, one of them is one of these absolutionists, and he's really trying to push the thought behind this is, first they came for Alex Jones, but I said nothing because he's a moron.
Yes.
Next they come for blah. That argument.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is a complete travesty.
Well, the thing
is, original.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's doing this. Everyone's bringing it down to that, one extreme side or the other is trying to, what is it they call it? It was the horseshoe. Is that what they call the horseshoe theory?
Yeah.
Where eventually you become so extreme on one end, it actually loops around and becomes the same as the extreme on the other side. So on both extremes, you've got two sides trying to create a totalitarian state. And accusing one or the other of being censorious or too controlling or this or that. And then, of course, the inevitable N word pops up. And I mean Nazi.
Yeah.
Kettle black. Like
kettle pot, totally.
Yeah, like the extreme left and the extreme right. Yeah. Well, they're both totalitarian in nature, whether they'll admit it or not. But it's not about sides. It's about humans depending on other humans to make survival decisions for them. Yeah. And it comes down to actually leader. That's all. Whether the leader is all inclusive or all exclusive or whatever. It's just, it's a bunch of people who don't know right or wrong for themselves, depending on a central leader who says right and wrong is X, and that's it. What X is hardly has any importance in all that. It's just
I got into
to what extremes they'll go to off each other, the competing factions. That's all.
Yeah, I got into a discussion with some guys at work about we kind of touched on this, which was hilarious because I was talking with a guy who's a Muslim who laughs his ass off at flat earthers. just let that sink in a little bit.
He obviously didn't read his Quran very well.
Oh, he read the Bible. He read it, but he's more, for lack of a better term, he is what I would consider a cultural Muslim.
Okay.
So one of those ones where they don't really adhere to the book that much. He's got, he won't do dairy, he won't do pork. Although I think the dairy also has a bit to do with lactose intolerance. But
I was going to say there's nothing about Islam that prohibits dairy.
Yeah, so it could be something else. But
yeah, like the guys that, I don't eat pork, but I'll smoke and I'll drink and do this and that.
Yeah, so it's more of a cultural thing. I think he does it to appease his family because, as generations move on, he's actually doing the right thing and becoming more Canadian than he is anything else.
Yeah.
But anyways.
There are worse things that people could be.
Mm-hmm.
Trump supporter.
I could say in Florida, but
talk show hosts, political pundits,
anti-vaxxers,
podcast hosts.
Yeah,
going on.
Well, but we did hit on something, and I actually mentioned the whole thing about the critical thought filter, and it eventually landed around Bernie. Wants free college. For free community college for everybody. I'm going to stop you right there. If you're going to get that tax money to do the free college, turn it around. Because, garbage in, garbage out. How about get your K-12 shit together first before you start worrying about college? Now, I'm not a parent. We have two parents on the panel here. I imagine I can get a pretty good sense of what the American educational system is like in the K-12 setup.
Yeah, it's full of fail.
Well, it's admittedly, it's a lot of hit or miss, and a lot of it really depends on way too many factors, not the least of which is where the hell you live. But going on for you.
Hold on.
Well, not only that, at least where I live now, there's a problem with school vouchers and school choice and all that other stuff because that's a thing here. And most of the vouchers are for religious-based education.
Yeah.
And what they're finding now is, I don't remember if it was Indiana University or which school put out a study that showed that the kids who were using vouchers to go to the religiously based education was actually scoring lower in English and math on tests than the public school students were.
I believe that.
And you see, there's all these complaints about not enough, I'll say it, not enough women in STEM, which I would actually equate to not enough people in STEM, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's I don't think there's enough of a foundation. So I honestly think that any politician who wants to run on the free schools platform or on the free tuition platform should actually take a big step back and say, you know what? I'm going to clean up the state, the education system. Now, unfortunately, every state's going to have their own, they're going to say that that's not the Fed's business, which I think is bullshit.
I agree.
I do think, and again, coming at it as a Canadian, I think there is value to having a federally standardized level of education that if a student at least makes that, they could make it to college on their marks. And if, I've also heard the thing, well, not everybody, can do the classroom thing. Okay, fine. If you have more of a practical way of doing things, like, you get into grade 10, you're sick of math, you're sick of this, you're sick of that. Well, do you like working on cars? Do you like working, have, introductory to trades.
We used to. They were called VOTEC schools.
Yeah,
they do still exist.
I wanted to say vocational, but
yeah, no, that's exactly the right term for it, and those do still exist.
When I first heard that word, at least the first place I saw it, it was almost a pejorative, so that's why I kind of backed off of it.
Yeah, no, you and me. For me, when I was growing up in the mid '80s in high school, it was considered, if you were going to VOTEC for beautician school, or if you were going for not mechanical, automotive tech is what it was specifically called.
Yeah,
you were viewed as somebody who was learning a skill, but you're not going to college.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the pejorative part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to back up right there. Anecdotal evidence, but I will present it nonetheless.
Go for it.
My nephew.
Well, I don't want to have your nephew on the show. I mean, I don't know.
No, although, of course, if he saw this side of me, he'd either want to buy me another beer or he'd want to distance himself from me. One of the two.
Or it could be both.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
My nephew never went to college. Well, not technically. He did go to a tech school, and he learned a trade. Kind of what you'd call VOTEC.
Okay.
He is a Red Seal crane operator.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That is not something that the operation of which is not something that I would expect to find in any college. The learning the rules and the regs, learning the engineering specs, learning where and why they're used and under what conditions, that's classroom training I would typically expect. But actually how to operate those, that is far and away a much more specialized training.
And then came the times away from school where he would go work at a company that required him to operate a crane, where he was lifting things in excess of 200 tons, sometimes in tandem with other cranes, sometimes on his own, sometimes in our lovely Canadian inclement weather, and the like.
So I'm assuming that this would have been like a dock type area or a rail.
Actually, I could. It's in the town that's just north of me.
Well, let me rephrase it. An operator like this would have typically been working in either a rail yard or a water port. I would expect.
Possibly.
Okay. That's the piece I wanted to get at.
Yeah. But a lot of the stuff that would come in, these are parts from oil rig facilities up north. So they're usually coming in on heavy trucks, very heavy trucks. These are the ones you don't want to get behind when you're on the highway, because you're going to be there for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Roundabout. He's currently not working as an operator right now. The company he worked for went away. But he has that certification. So some snobby who can say, well, you're not going to college. He can go right up in their face, show them that, and say, guess what, bitch? I walk on site for 85 grand a year starting. What do you got? And this is why I have so much respect for tradespeople, carpenters, boilermakers, plumbers, people who do road work. Flag operators, the guys that do the slow and stop.
Yep.
I guarantee you they are pulling down major coin. Of course, the hazard pay, given how some people drive, kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But these guys are also typically the ones who are part of the engineering teams that are involved with actually working on roads, because the amount of engineering shit that goes into, and don't even get me started on the legalities of who has control over which roadway and who's got jurisdiction and where are you supposed to buy the products from and who's supposed to maintain the heavy machinery and who's supposed to be on chart. It's the levels of bullshit with it all is just absolutely okay.
But my point is that
we'll finish down this and then we'll backtrack.
I would say, like, if you're going to overhaul any kind of educational system, okay, it's not power of 10, but fuck the colleges. Fuck college, fuck university. Get the VOTEC schools up and running. Yeah, it's my 3, I know. But no, but get the get the VOTEC schools up and running, because okay, I looked a little bit more into Flint, learned a few things. They kind of messed themselves up in a way. They were apparently trying to divert their pipelines into this other water supply because it was going to be cheaper for them or something. And lack of proper filtration kind of put them where they are right now. So if proper people had gone in and done proper assessments, we wouldn't be seeing that. But then, as some other friends have said, Flint is the tip of the iceberg. There are towns, there are municipalities out there where Flint smells like a rose by comparison.
Yeah, but enough about Jersey.
Your guys' infrastructure is collapsing. And instead of hearing about investing, in that, it's $600 billion for more what to fuel the war machine.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna pause you right there because I think there's a piece about this that it comes back and actually ties in properly. Cutting corners. When you're dealing with tradespeople, typically you're going to be working manual labor a lot of times because what you're doing is somewhere between art and science. Yeah, you can have machinery that actually does a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to be using quite the right term, but follow me along. The machinations of setting these things in motion, like I was talking about, if you're going to work on a roadway, you need to have the engineering reports, you need to have the stuff bought, you need to have the field maintained, the machinery maintained, the people trained, and stuff purchased, and all that stuff. Here on our side of everybody else's borders in the U.S. and Bridget, you help me out on this one a little bit because I think that you can speak to it probably even better than I can. The idea of penny pinching every last stinking red cent. Not that they know what pennies are up north anymore. Every stinking dime that you possibly can because of the idea of you remember the expression that had been flying around for a long time, work smarter, not harder, be more efficient with less money, be more productive with fewer resources, all the shit that came through it all. And in the position that you've been in for the last however how long it's been at this point with this money pinching grubby group, I'm being nice about it, can you tell? you and I both know about this because we've both dealt with insurance billing where it's been nickel and diming and nickel and diming and nickel and diming, but it's far and away more than just the medical industry that we've seen.
Well, it's all of them. This used to be a heavy industrial state years back. It's not anymore. But I know as far as like working on infrastructure here, they do try to cut corners. They don't want to pay salaries to do a good job, and they contract things out to the cheapest bidder. And the work might last a season, and it has to be redone because it's really shoddy.
Because it all comes down to the
How
next
much money that they're paying right now at this moment.
or more importantly, how much they're keeping at the end of every quarter.
Well, yeah. It's all about profit now and not anything long term.
And it's actually beneficial to them if they do a shitty job because they'll be paid to do it again.
Spaghetti code equals job security.
Oh, God, ain't that the case? For those of you that don't know about spaghetti code, you have no idea how lucky you are. For anybody that wants to go ahead and scream internally, do a hard-coded web page just for shits and giggles, and then redo it and pull it into, I don't know, Word, and then do the HTML export and then see what you end up with.
No.
Yeah.
See, I'm one of those people that used to do hard-coded websites in HTML 3.2 because that's what we had. And then I saw what somebody did using a Word export. Bad. Okay? Bad. Does it get the job done? Sure.
I'll fight you on that one.
But it sure as hell is not going to be efficient at it by any stretch of the imagination.
You're familiar with the Hello World.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Basically, it's the ability to put one line, Hello World, as the end result of whatever it is you're programming in, whatever medium. Could be Java, could be Visual C, could be Visual anything.
Could be basic. And if you do it in basic, it should only be 2 lines of code tops.
Yeah.
Is that like when we learned how to make our name go across the screen on the Commodore 64?
Yes.
Kind of.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Same
exactly it.
Same thing.
Okay.
Now, to put hello, I actually did the Hello World in Word. And then I did the HTML export because I had Microsoft Word 6 with the brand new HTML export capability. 6 pages of printed HTML overhead. I crashed a browser to say hello world.
Now,
Wow.
It's a 5-line thing. Is it 5? HTML body p hello world /p /body /HTML. Yeah. 5 lines, and Word translated out to 6 pages of metadata.
Now, what does this actually have to do with the idea of bad form and cheating overall? This is exactly it, even though it may not necessarily seem like it. The idea that you can make a shortcut to get to the end goal. The end justifies the means. It doesn't matter that it took 14 kilobytes of data to print out 2 words on the screen. The point is, you got your 2 words out on the screen, and who cares about all the other shit around it?
Yeah. And the bottom line is, it was also made easy enough that, Joe Jacob Sixpack, I use a middle name because they can type it in Word, which is something they're familiar with, push that new fancy button up in the upper right-hand corner, and I'm on the web.
Yep. Now, how does this translate into big-time real-world consequences? Here's one. Y'all remember when the rivers were on fire in Ohio, Pennsylvania? Because the companies were just allowed to do it nice and easy and simple and make whatever the hell it was they wanted to manufacture and dump all the shit wherever they wanted to. And the rivers literally lit on fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it's all about. It's about integrity. And if you don't have integrity, how can anyone trust you to do the right thing or even the wrong thing? Because if you don't have integrity, you have no idea. Nobody could believe you, no matter what it is that you said or pledged or wrote down that you were going to do, because, well, you could just change it around. If memory serves, there was one supervillain who actually said, the one thing that I always liked about working against you, and I forget if it was Superman or Batman, but follow me a second, you always knew where you stood with you. And that's why, to me, it was probably Superman, because, I mean, what the hell? But that's the thing. If it's a card game, if you have a certain amount of integrity for the game, you know that you're not going to cheat. You know it's all about who can work the game better. And in politics, if you don't have integrity, what's the line from Hamilton? If you don't say what you... I'm going to screw up the quote, forgive me. But it basically comes down to, if you don't say what you'll stand for, Mr. Burr, what do you fall for?
Hmm.
And I'm going to look up the line, because the line was way too important for me to screw it up at this point.
Politics has taken a very dark turn, not just recently, but even before what's going on down there right now. I'll cite two sources here. The first was when Jack Layton from the New Democratic Party here in Canada was made the leader of the official opposition. Heretic Woman, you can probably back me up on this one. In his interview, he did not say that he was going to work in the interest of the Canadian people, which is what the loyal opposition is supposed to do. They are the check and balance for the party in power to make sure that whatever policies they're planning to pass, whatever bills they're looking to get done, work to the interest, to the common interest, and to the benefit of the nation's people. But he didn't say that. What he said is that he was going to dedicate his career, his life, to fighting Stephen Harper, who was in power at the time. And to me, that immediately made me not like him.
Now, to some degree, because that's who was in power, that is marginally the same.
Well,
kind of, sort of.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's all about hearts and minds, in my opinion. And I would have liked Layton a lot more if he'd said that he was actually working for the people, not working at, not sounding as though he had a vendetta against those who in power.
Yeah.
Now, when the Republicans took the houses when Obama was still president, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it's Ryan, but I could be wrong. Said that, again, they were going to dedicate themselves to shutting down absolutely everything the president puts forward. Yep. Wrong. That is the wrong thing to do. You are there, Mr. Speaker. You are there, Congressman. You are there, senators, to work to the mutual benefit of your people. Well, it should have nothing to do with the party line, your party's frickin' ideology, or anything. It is making sure that your people are taken care of. And in my opinion,
are they not employed by the people at that point?
They are, but they don't recognize it. And I think the entire political system in North America, and I mean even up here, has completely lost sight of why they're there in the first place.
Yeah. They've adopted this idea of, well, yeah, you can elect us, but once we're in power, we do what the hell we want, and that's just what we get for being in power.
Years ago, that was a running joke. You know, remember Cretchen and his red book?
Yep.
Yep. I have this book. Yeah. And it just so you know, it was not the Bible, but it was his red book was his checklist. And it was full of his to-do list for while he was in power. And every meeting, they would be able to go in, open up, and check off what they'd done for the benefit of the Canadian people. It died the moment he was elected.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, as far as to the idea of once we're elected, then we don't care what it is that you think. No, it's actually just the opposite. We do care. And that's why when we're in power, we will orchestrate the system so that we don't have to worry about no longer being employed by equal numbers or overwhelming numbers that would kick us out, i.e. gerrymandering. But that's something that's damn it. That's a whole other.
But you know, the funny thing too, and this kind of ties back to your poker thing about earlier.
Yeah, which, by the way, I do have the quote I'm going to get to in just a second.
But you knew the candidate was a snake. Regardless of party line, you knew they were slime. Yet you still elected them, and then you cry foul when that person does exactly what you feared he was going to do, but you still elected them anyway.
Like the people who they elected him because they were like, oh, immigrants. Meanwhile, they're married to somebody without documents, and then they get surprised when their spouse gets deported. It's like, well, I didn't think it was going to do it to me.
Or Obamacare versus ACA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The videos on that one were priceless.
We highlighted those on a show last year, I think.
And I still think of the Carrier incident. You know, we're going to keep these jobs in America. Believe it.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, and how long did he keep them there for? Maybe an extra 2-3 months?
Yeah, not even. But that's a whole other thing, man. You want to?
Or the poor bastards who are still thinking, "Oh, we're going to get our coal jobs back."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone who uses the term "clean, sweet coal" has never worked with it.
Yeah, the only clean sweet coal is the stuff that you get up out of Minecraft, but that's a whole other issue. By the way, I found the only reason I can say that is because there's a mod pack where you can actually use coal to make solar panels. So keep that in mind. I found the quote that I was looking for, and like I said, this is one of those ones where it's far too important for me to get it right that to just blow it off. Because for those of you that know, or more importantly, those of you that don't know, Hamilton, the play Hamilton, the lyric work of Lin-Manuel Miranda is positively sublime. Now, I'm gonna read you off the end piece of the piece called Aaron Burr, Sir, which is from very early in the show. I will link to the audio so that you guys can hear it for yourselves, because it's positively staggering how good this is. But this was the line, and the setup is it's Alexander Hamilton and a couple of the other guys who are going to be instrumental in the revolution in the near future, including Aaron Burr. Yes, I know. Yes, that. Yes, I know. You guys know who I'm talking about. And well, Aaron Burr is going to be responding. Somebody says to him, Aaron Burr, give us a verse, drop some knowledge. One of the other guys says, good luck with that. You're taking a stand. No, sorry, it's Aaron Burr who's saying it. There's no notation as to who's saying what, so forgive me, I'm losing track. Aaron Burr responds, good luck with that. You're taking a stand, talking to the other guys who are talking about, the revolution coming. You spit, I'm a sit. We'll see where we land. Burr, the revolution's imminent. What do you stall for? And this is where Alexander Hamilton comes in. If you stand for nothing, Burr, what'll you fall for? The whole setup of it is, if you want to be in politics, if you want to help the body civil, if you want to help the society that you are a part of, you need to be able to say, look, I think things need to be fixed this way because this is what's broken and this is what I think needs to be done in order to fix it. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong. We're not all economists. We're not all engineers. We're not all doctors. Some of us aren't even lawyers. And Heretic Woman knows full well, I've been having a little bit of fun with a lawyer recently, and that's been... anyway. But the point of it is, at least if you have integrity enough to say, this is what I think, and this is what everything that I've known tells me this is supposed to wait, it's supposed to work this way. You're not just going to go ahead and say, it's my way, or I'm going to shoot you so that you can't argue with me. No, man, it doesn't work that way. Figuratively or literally. But people should be able to sit down, maybe in a closed room, maybe with stuff that can't be lobbed at each other, and actually discuss and have discourse and not be, it's going to be my way and that's it. That's completely wrong. That's completely antithetical to the idea of why the hell do you have people coming together to fix laws and to settle scores so that everybody benefits as much as possible together? What the hell is the point of government otherwise? And that's where for me this whole damn thing is all come down to. People just want what they want because it's like they're 3-year-olds. And they just want what they want, and they want their bottle, and they want their power, and they want whatever the hell it is that they can yell and scream for, and screw everybody else around them.
And you know, I saw an article earlier this week that really drove a lot of this home. We were talking earlier about gentleman politics, you know, or the art of the debate. You know, where there were civil discussions and people were, if not nice, at the very least, respectful.
Civil at the very least.
Okay. I want to show you this. Take into it what you will. Personally, this struck a chord with me because, if this is where things are heading, we are in very big trouble. So just give me a moment here.
Hi, that's me.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Read that headline.
Nice people make great Nazis. Why it's urgent that we rethink politeness in 2018.
And the first paragraph, I'll read it. When Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked in June to leave a Virginia restaurant, a restaurant that, in response, allegedly had chicken feces thrown at it by a man who drove over 2 hours to achieve this rather creative form of protest, she made a point of saying that she left politely and that she always tries to treat people, including those who I disagree with, respectfully. And that's the theme of this article. Now, Upworthy, I don't really give a lot of credence to. This popped up. I was actually looking for stupid news one week, a little while ago, and I ran across this. This kills me because if this is what one particular side of the political debate or the political spectrum is going after, saying that If you want to be nice and you want to be respectful and you want to have discussions, you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
Things have gone too far.
And there's another piece on that one. And I know I've been talking a hell of a lot more tonight than I normally do. I truly am sorry about that.
I'm grateful because I always talk too much.
Yeah.
You guys know full well.
You know.
I try to steer far more than discuss, and tonight is one of those things where you can tell.
To have an on night.
I know, but it's one of those. It's one of those nights where for me it's like it got under my skin really, really hard because I've come back to that in a second. If how we've seen a constant barrage from the press secretary telling the press, those that are supposed to have been entrusted with a almost sacred duty to communicate what is happening to those that aren't there, to document history in real time, which is what I really think journalism is all about. Thank you very much. And telling them that they are bad people for what they do, and they're bad people individually because of that. If that's what they think being respectful, if that's what they think the bar is, there's something significantly wrong. And really quickly, you know, I'll save it for my closing to explain why this is so under my skin, because we don't have too much time left over. Sorry, this you know, there every once in a while there are certain things that get under my skin. Charles Rapists from a couple of weeks ago, and people who don't want to play fair and nice and respectfully. That gives you an idea as to where some of my alignment is. Don't try and peg me on a D&D board. It's not a good place to be. Bridget, let me target you down a piece. You said way early on that you knew what kind of a person Mike Pence would be, because you guys had experience in seeing how he acted in professional capacity as a person in politics. Would you have considered at the time that he was one of integrity, stood for specific items? Or was he one of those political opportunists that just listened to the wind and followed it along like, you know, Mitch fucking McConnell? I'm sorry. That's my fourth, I think, tonight.
I'm going to have to think about that one. I don't really think he's a man of integrity per se.
But then again, we also know full well that he had certain dots that he wanted to hit with his little BB gun that were absolutely reprehensible anyway.
Yeah, but those little dots had to do with his sincerely held beliefs, and we knew what those were because he wore them on his sleeve. But at the same time, as far as like what's going on now in the Trump administration, I think he knows everything more than he lets on, and I think he would take advantage of a situation when he has an opening. So I don't know whether you call him, you know, a man of integrity or not. I guess it depends on the issue.
He's a sheepdog.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We all know he wrote the op-ed.
Yeah, he probably did.
Now,
did. Or Kushner may have. I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know. I saw a meme today that said McCain wrote it. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling, but you know, I think he would be an opportunist for sure. But as far as like bashing on gay people and you know things to do with the abortion, things like that. Oh yeah, he sincerely held those beliefs and tried to force them down other people's throats, and was unabashed about it.
So he was integral to his own beliefs.
Yeah. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, horrid that those were, and that's why a long time ago, you guys might remember, I had said that as far as that kind of stuff is concerned, he is lawful evil. What he wants to accomplish is horrifically evil, but he would be doing it through the body and the spirit of the law.
By the book.
But the most important thing is that he doesn't realize that it's evil.
Yeah, which is why the other term for lawful evil in the D&D world is diabolical.
Yeah.
Versus chaotic, which would be
demonic. I could pull the book out.
Well,
yeah, no,
shit.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he will use whatever mechanisms are in place to achieve what he thinks is the thing that needs to be achieved.
Totalitarianism.
Yeah, he would be a totalitarian for sure.
Yeah, if he gets all those little dots that he's trying to get to. Although I don't think that it would be. I don't think that he would use any method possible, legal or underhanded, which I know the two are not mutually exclusive. Just go with me on this one. Shit, I forget where I was going exactly on that one.
Well, he would use it procedurally to get it done rather than doing it under the table.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he would also probably have all kinds of PR engines.
Oh, yeah.
Working, that's just it. Because, again, it goes to hearts and minds. Like, yeah, he won't push anything through illegally, but he'll make sure that he can swing enough public opinion to get his points across, even if there's a little bit of obfuscation involved, maybe not exactly, technically I told the truth.
Yeah.
And if you'll remember, he tried to do a state-controlled news service here when he was still governor.
Wait,
wow.
Wait. I don't remember this.
Wow.
What now?
They were calling him or referring to it as our version of Prada. But he, when he was governor, was wanting to do a state-owned mouthpiece, for Indiana. And making sure that everything, any publicity about him went through them first. And since it, when it exploded in his face, and he quickly, withdrew and stepped back from that. But yeah, okay. I'll have to Google it and throw you a link. But that was really scary shit.
I'm just thinking of the Kim Jong Il spin engine and some of the shit they used to come up with. I could just imagine some of the bad infographics and stuff that would come up from these morons.
Okay, the piece I was trying to think about before that, I lost my place. Where I was trying to get to was all of those little dots that he would want to get to. For instance, re-enabling gay conversion therapy. Let's just go with just that one, because we can agree that's horrific, is truly horrific, and we have the data to support. We do have the data to support that, don't we, Bridget?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. All right, so he would follow the law and the spirit and the proper above board to get to that. But I believe that the underhanded, the questionable, the morally ambiguous stuff would be for the soft stuff of keeping himself in a position of power to influence getting to that dot. But the actual machination of trying to get to that dot would be above board. I think that's the type of personality that he would be and is.
Well,
and this is opinion.
Well, wouldn't he have to get his wife's permission first anyway?
Oh,
mother.
Yes.
You know, there's only one other person that I can think of in history, one other character where mother is really, really a creepy idea. And thank you, Mr. Hitchcock.
They had a motel, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
With a very bad lock on the shower door or the bathroom door to the shower.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Oh my god! I didn't.
Kind of slippery shower too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just getting so riled up in all this shit. I've not been keeping track of the time, and I'm just suddenly realizing we've actually hit the 2-hour point, and I didn't give you guys an opportunity to wrap it. I've been okay. Really quickly, my piece was I remember in grade school playing kickball, and I hit a really good hit and coming around, ready to get into third base, and ball finally came over there, and the third baseman caught it, and I got there, and I said, you know what? Yeah, okay, you got me. And everybody yelled and screamed, why would you do that? Because they were right and I was wrong, and they got me, and I admitted to it instead of saying, no, I'm here, I don't care. I was the one as a grade schooler who went ahead and said, at like freaking 7 years old, you know what? Fair play says, you got me. Okay, you got me. I think that's part of the reason why it gets so under my skin. Because for me, it is a piece of personal pride and integrity that if you're right, cool. If you're wrong, you own up to it. Because what the hell else otherwise? I don't need somebody looking over my shoulder to tell me if I did wrong, that I need to correct it. By the way, if you need that, and that's God, yeah, well done. I would much rather trust somebody that doesn't have somebody looking over their shoulder who says, yeah, okay, yeah, I screwed up, let me fix it. Instead of, oh, I guess somebody's going to catch me if I do this. Maybe I shouldn't do that. This piece is about all this. Joseph, you've not had nearly enough opportunity, and I'm to speak your mind. Although I have recognized that when you've had something to say, oh man, I love when I see that microphone come off, because it means that, oh, you're just having all kinds of fun getting ready to drop.
It's quality over quantity.
It is.
That's it.
So I'm going to give you and Bridget an opportunity to finish off. So whatever piece you want to finish off with, please, by all means.
No, well, I can't always participate in every discussion. I mean, you guys spend a lot of time talking about sports, so and like Aaron Ra like to say, he goes, I'd rather watch static between channels than watch a football game.
Try to make a good analogy, man. You give me shit.
But I could have got in a word edgewise about about soccer, because I do enjoy the World Cup, but it's more what happens around that. But anyways.
But is there any last piece about personal integrity on this that other than picking on me again?
I never pick on you.
Thanks.
Can you give me an example of me picking on you?
You know what, Dalan? We'll go back to the videotape. We'll get that later.
Yeah. That's going to be an awful long trip through the archives.
Don't worry about it. Anyway.
And I want you to check every episode.
I have to get more coffee.
There's not enough coffee.
You're right.
I'm imagining a seed like Clockwork Orange, where they prop your eyelids open.
Anyway,
all right.
Integrity.
No, but integrity. I've got a lot to unpackage if I'm going to go there. I'd love that we have a discussion one day about putting religion into a new context, like discussing it from discussing it for what it is. I mean, it's basically a psychological tool, totalitarianism, You know, that's the next step up from physical force threat totalitarianism, and that's it. They just you know, some people learned how to use psychological tools instead of clubs to impose their rule. So really, like all of this, the God question and all that, I mean, these people who are running these shows, they have no fucking clue. You know, they know it's all bullshit. They only know that it works. So really, the content of the story doesn't matter at all. I'd really like to start looking at religion from that point of view, and actually what it does to human behavior, and how, you know, what sort of human it preys upon. You know, yeah, people who don't know how to make value judgments for themselves. Basically, people that have no integrity. Without integrity, without critical thought, and without the ability to make decisions for yourself, there's no such thing as morals or integrity or anything like that. There's only the party line, the example. There you go.
I'll go with you. I'll go with you on that. Bridget, and like I said, you also haven't had nearly as much time, so you know, unless the other two got something that they think is worth dropping in here, you've almost got the last word at this point.
I have nothing to add.
You are such a pain in my goddamn ass. You know, she asked to be on this show.
I did.
Now what happened? Now it's like, you know, it's like pulling. Do you have any teeth left for me to pull? Really?
Yeah, I've got all my teeth except for my third molars.
That was partly my fault, because I could write a book called Surefire Conversation Stoppers.
Don't worry about it. Oh, and by the way, after what you were just saying, the discussion that I've been having earlier today on Facebook and yesterday with this lawyer, I think I'm gonna haul that whole thing out so that we can have that one. And trust me, it'll be worth it. Anyway.
That might be fun.
How
about all these Just Do It memes going on Facebook? I think some of them are pretty good. And there was even one that had our friend No Illusions in it. It was great.
I think I missed that one.
I'll have to find it for you. You'll like it.
Fair enough. Yeah, drop it into the Facebook group, because why the hell not? But as far as to, you know, last thoughts on the whole damn thing at this point, was there anything left over for you? I mean, yeah, I'm teasing you and whatnot, and you know that, but is there something left over that you think really does need?
Has nothing to do with anything other than the confirmation hearings of KAVANAUGH. And come to find out, he's committed perjury so many times that he's now being charged with 8 counts.
Wait, are we talking actual counts?
Yes.
Sorry,
Criminally charged. Yes. Perjury. Yes.
Wow, that didn't take long.
No, and I have not caught up on the news for that. Then I would need to go looking for that. Wow.
I'll see if I can find it for you. But
I
getting interesting.
That's an understatement, or the Chinese version of interesting. So yeah, keep that in mind. Shit.
You know, I think that saying is actually Jewish.
I've always heard that it was supposed to have been credited for Chinese.
So did I, but then there was somebody who tried to set me straight on it.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
Yeah, I wonder if Eli might be able to tell us, or Tech for that matter.
Well,
of course, that's whole kind of guilt by association.
Yeah, let's just go looking for wiki quote and just go from there, because there's a wiki for everything, you know.
Oh, here you go. I'm going to just link this to the show notes, but this is the actual copy of the criminal complaint that was filed with the Department of Justice.
So he gets confirmed. Like I saw some of the footage of him getting confirmed, and I mean it was a shit show, because the opposition. Well, yeah, like the hearings, they were trying to, somebody's trying to shout down, and the guy just ignored him. So now he's been confirmed, and now all this pops up. Man, it's crazy.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
You know, honestly, if I was a religious man right now, there's an awful lot of relation or allusion to Sodom and Gomorrah that I'm seeing right about now. Find me one good man in Washington and I'll spare the city.
Yeah, considering how much salt there is between everybody, somehow I don't think that you're far from wrong. I did not say that right. I did not say that right at all.
Well, that's okay. There is an awful lot of salt because everybody seems to be so damn salty these days. It's a video game thing, trust me.
It's a whole other thing, yeah. And any last thing, Heretic Woman? I mean,
I think I kind of did it all with cornhole.
I had to start that.
But by the way, did you know that Dick's Sports sells cornhole boards from the Cleveland Browns?
Oh. This is the joke that never ends.
I've been sitting on that for 2 hours. Come on.
That's a twofer. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the podcast. I'm not doing this. So,
and I didn't even drop an F-bomb tonight.
Well, we might need to start renaming the vlogcast. Holy shit.
No. It's not too late.
There actually was a show called Holy Shit on Atheist TV for a while.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. I really wish someone would like that back up. I think it was Silverman's project, and of course he's oh boy,
it's on the non grata now.
I was going to say, you want to talk about a glorious fall from grace?
You know what
happened? Burn. Was there ever a follow up to that? I only heard about the.
I don't know if there were any criminal charges or not, but
no. But I can give you a rundown on stuff after we go off the air.
Yeah,
we'll do that. You know what?
Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to wrap at this point. So I'll just go as far as to say if you guys go ahead and support us a hell of a lot over there on Patreon, we'll invest in cameras and actually we'll make our own damn show, and we'll have a second version, and we'll make it completely above any standard of what an R rating would be. And just because I needed to go ahead and get it out of here with all the stuff that's been talked about tonight, I picked a bad night to give up drinking. So yeah, I've considered a couple of times refilling my glass. I want you guys to know I have not. And if you go looking through the video, you will see after I finished, I picked up the cup a couple of times and just nah, that's not going to be a good idea. So I know we're running a little bit on the late side. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. We hope that you had yourself a good time and had some fun at my expense, because apparently everybody else does tonight. So, thanks, guys. Appreciate that ever so much.
Glad we can help out.
It's perfectly fine. So anyway, Joseph, thank you very much for your time this morning. Have a good morning, and I hope all the projects are coming along relatively smoothly for you at this point.
So funny you should use that adjective. Anyways, yeah. Be smoothing my counters. Maybe tomorrow.
Well, good luck on that. So long as we don't have. You know what? No.
I gave no context there at all.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm renovating my kitchen, and I put together an epoxy mortar process. Actually, it's kind of recreating. I think they call it solid something. I'm losing my English. Anyways, yeah, recreating stone in a way. So I'm making a stone counter.
Ooh, I bet that'll be pretty.
With epoxy and aggregates. You can use quartz and you can use anything. And the epoxy is super, super strong bond. And you can make it into any shape you want. It's kind of amazing.
Well, if you're going to be recreating stone, you can go ahead and recreate the wheel, because that's the way it sounds over there. See, it's my one dig back at you.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Bridget,
Noted.
thank you. You try to have yourself a good morning, and please try to stay well at this point.
No kidding. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be immune to the other seasonal strains going around of the flu. I still have to get a shot.
So I was going to say, are you going to get a shot then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking as the token spleenless one in the crowd,
Yes.
get the damn shot, please.
I will. Herd immunity is important.
Yes.
So get the shot for those who cannot.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Take one for the team. Christ, I took 7. Okay, so I get you.
We'll keep that in mind. So, and Bridget, people want to catch up on all the stuff you've got it over at
BridgetFitch2112.wordpress.com.
Thank you. And Heretic Woman, what do you guys got coming on for tomorrow? Because it is today now.
Yes, it is. We are going to be talking to Thomas Westbrook, a.k.a. Holy Kool-Aid. And he has started a fundraiser, an atheist fundraiser for the victims of clergy abuse. So we're going to talk to him about that. And I'm also hoping, I don't know if he's free yet, but one of my local heathens who has, for the last 3 weeks, gone out every Sunday and picketed his local Catholic church. So we're going to talk to him, hopefully, if he's free. That'll be fun. That's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Beyond the Trailer Park. Yes, and there be the graphic. Beyond the Trailer Park. And so that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. And if you don't know Holy Kool-Aid, go check out his YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. It's way better than mine. So
he does good stuff.
He does.
I just recently subscribed to him. He's a bit of an animator. And I don't know, the ones I've seen actually it's like he's reading essays, which is again really cool. I like the way he does his stuff.
Yes.
If I knew anything about animation, I'd probably try to do the same thing.
Oh, totally. And he has like the greatest little like cartoon characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does a really good job with it. In fact, his girlfriend Amanda was who we were visiting while we were stuck in Tulsa for 2 days. So
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So all your stuff is over at
so beyondthetrailerpark.com. Excuse me. Of course, if you want to hear me read the Quran so you don't have to, that's over at www.fullquranic.com. Yes, I know I haven't done anything in forever. It's been a long summer. So this might end up being a winter project when I'm so stir crazy. Looking at the Quran actually is marginally appealing. I don't know.
Well, Ontario winters being what they are.
Well, it could be Calgary winter, so I'm okay.
Yeah, I still offer myself as tribute if you're looking for a guest voice at some point.
Absolutely. And we got the motorcycle fixed this week, by the way, on Labor Day. Got it fixed, so
congratulations.
He's happily motoring to work again. Happy guy. So, and that's how I was able to convince him that it was time for a kitten. So there's all that. Yes, we're gonna get a kitten soon. But anyway, that has nothing to do with my show.
That's all right.
So I think that about covers it, though.
Look at the bright side. When the winter comes up, you can motivate yourself by every page that you get through is another page that you can throw as kindling into the fireplace. How's that?
There we go.
Or if you don't have a fireplace of your own, you can always donate it to me then, because whatever.
Okay. Well, he burns coal and barbecues.
Speaking of that, then, Dalan, thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
You kind of knew that was coming, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I kind of figured. But yeah, good to be here again. I am going to try to get off my tail tomorrow and get the audio version of this show up to date over at holycrapthevlogcast.com. I know it's fallen behind again.
It happens.
Yeah, just reality can be a bit of a bear. And when I'm wanting to scratch down some musings that maybe you wouldn't see on this show or, whatever, you can always catch me over at inthewind.yo5.ca. And as a personal achievement, for the first time with my new grill and the first time in 9 years, I tried to grill a steak today. And I followed a very, I followed a very simple rule that my niece's husband imparted to me. Heat up the grill to between 400 and 500 degrees. Open the cover, reduce the heat, put the steak on. 4 minutes. Flip it. 4 minutes. Flip it again. 4 minutes. And depending on the fluid or the juices that are on top, when you flip it again, either 2 or 4 minutes, and you will get medium rare beefy goodness.
Wrap it in tin foil for like about 4 or 5 minutes before you serve it up. It'll be super tender too.
Well, needless to say that that steak came off. I let it sit for a few minutes while I put the rest of my sides together. I bit into that thing. Oh yeah.
I saw
it was kind of like Rocket when he got his gun in the first Guardians movie. Was like, oh yeah.
Foodgasm.
Oh, Joseph, you have to understand. I was a guy that would barbecue almost every night when I was married. When I moved into a place with roommates and then eventually into a place with a basement, I didn't have a grill. And so we're talking about 8 to 9 years of not being able to barbecue. Now I have a balcony with an inline gas, and now I have a grill. And I'm trying to get back into how to, because there are techniques. A lot of stuff I've kind of forgotten or I'm very rusty at. And I've got a visitor coming up in a couple of weeks. I promised her steak, and heaven help me if I don't do it right.
Well, good luck.
Yes. So if anybody's keeping tabs, yes, in a couple of weeks we can ask. No. 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 Just no. Somebody remind me that I need to take a nap before I do the show again if I'm going to be out all day walking around a lot. This is bad because the filter is really, really loose right now, and this is not a good place for me to be.
I suddenly have a very bad feeling I'm going to be getting a couple of DMs after this.
I will just go as far as to say, I hope the visit is worthwhile. And I think right now, with the way that my Goron buffer panner is coming off my ship right now, I think that's probably the nicest thing that I can say. And Dalan knows full well what I'm referencing back to. And
allow me to tweak your barometer here a little bit.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay, next week I won't be here because I'm going to be getting ready to fly down to Florida.
Shit, I got to remember this.
Florida. Yeah, you might want to write it down this time.
Yeah, heading down to Pensacola, which is going to be interesting. Although I hear part of it's underwater right now.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, but I won't be here the week after that because again, I'll be entertaining said guest. But the week after that, Shujin, you can gauge how well the trip went or how well the visit went by the size of the damn smile on my face. And let's just leave it at that, shall we?
You know, if some people were to just finally donate $75 to my fund, I would be very happy. I could put a very bad dragon impression smile on. Dave Foda, I'm looking at you.
And the TMI flag is down, folks.
Speaking of that, Dalan Felix says he has some tips for you in Second Life. I'm guessing about steak, but
It's yeah. I'm not taking that bet right now. I'm not taking that bet right now. I'll just go as far as to that. Felis, thank you. We got to get out. Please, by all means, take a swing over to holycrapvlogcast.com for all the information that you need, including the aforementioned podcast version. Just be careful as to where you click, because one part of it does work, the other part doesn't. It's the way that freaking WordPress is. Fucking, it's 5 at least. I don't care.
Well, you can have a couple of mine. I didn't use any this week.
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm channeling my inner Ryan Reynolds right about now. If you take a swing over to decide that you want to drop some money for us over at Patreon, patreon.com/HCTV, because, well, I got lucky that way. And, of course, the phone number, if you want to leave a voicemail message, is 859-HCTV-554. 859-428-8554. I left a video for the guys over at Skeptics with a K. They did not get around to responding to it just yet. I'm hoping that the next episode that they drop, maybe they'll address it, because I found it to be a completely fascinating question regarding the TARDIS and space-time and blank time. So, Mike, I'm hoping that you answer it, because I don't want to have to ask you when I invite you onto the show and go ahead and say, yeah, you remember that video question that I said? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. We're having a problem with communication. Yeah, you're not going to get away that easy. In any case, we got to go. Thank you, everybody. You guys take very good care of yourselves. As always, we'll see you next week. I wish you the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And like I said earlier, it's been 30 years since I've met you. I am still in love. Montane Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. As always, until the next time we get together, everyone. Good night.